And the main objective of this project is just to exchange good practice in e-health care for adults with Parkinson's and their family caregivers in Europe. This project is born to provide solution and bet on technology, digital connect, and good practice as facilitating tools to contribute to the well-being and improvement of quality of life of those who are affected by Parkinson's. So the final product of this project will be a good practice guide. We are compiling a lot of good practice that are currently in the market or in the research. All the things, all the projects that are now running, and we are trying to compile this, to generate this good practice, and to share with those stakeholders that are interested on it. Okay, Aquilina. We lost Aquilina, but she's here again. Okay, the consortium, we belong to several organizations. Belgian Brain Council, Grid Care Network, Pioni, this is Spiros, that I want to thank Spiros because his organization, Pioni, is the one who has organized this meeting. So thank you very much, Spiros, for organizing this meeting. And of course, the Serbian Brain Council, that is Sasa somewhere here. He's a neurologist. And okay, Sasa, good morning. And I want to thank you especially for all of the speakers for your generosity in order to disseminate your knowledge and exchange and give your experience with us. Okay, so we firstly will have Aquilina Despoti. She's a clinical neuropsychologist, researcher in clinical ergospirometry and exercise and rehabilitation lab. She belongs to a School of Medicine, National Ecare4pd University of Athens, and she will talk about virtual reality application in Parkinson patients. Aquilina, we are the only two girls in the in the group, so you can easily recognize her. And after that, we will talk. We will listen to Antonis Papadimitriou. PD. He's going to talk about PDMonitor. He's the senior sales and marketing executive of PD Neurotechnology Medical Solution and Enterprise. So thank you very much, Antonis Papadimitriou, for contacting. You are still here? Yeah, he is. Hello, Antonis. And finally, we listen about Pronu, that is a platform for caregivers, and with George Tinolassos and also Yanis Basilakos, that both are co-founders of Prono Software Development, are going to explain us. So thank you very much, all of you and Spiro, and we can start. All the floor is yours, Aquilina. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lara. And
excuse me, wait a minute, Anthony. Do you mind if we are recording the session meeting, and also it's in streaming now in YouTube? Have you got any problem with this?
No problems at all.
Oh, thank you very much. So go ahead. Sorry, Aquilina.
Okay, thank you so much. It's so nice meeting you all, and I'm very happy to participate in this meeting of Ecare4pd. So I'm going to present you some virtual reality application that we have created for different patients with neurological diseases, which also includes patients with Parkinson's disease. So we are actually starting more and more to be part of clinical trials as a method of rehabilitation. And this is because it gives a very great flexibility to the therapists. Also, the tests and the programs can very easily be adapted, and the therapist has a very great control over the therapy. Also, it's a great tool for personalization, so the exercise and the training can be very much personalized in the needs of every patient. It's a very realistic environment. It has a very great safety. And the most great thing is that all the responses of the patients can be recorded in a very great accuracy that is not possible with a human observation. But however, so there are many VR tools right now on the market, but in the research we have mostly non or semi-immersive virtual reality applications and not fully immersive VR. And the higher the immersive is, the higher the presence in the space.
Jacqueline, sorry, are you changing
Yes.
because we can see the changes. Maybe if you
Ah,
we are in the first one, in the very first one.
okay.
Okay.
I
Okay.
see.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Let
Thank
me
you.
try again to share screen. Okay. Now, can you see the change? Can you see the
Yes, we
screen?
are seeing the fifth one. It's a different photographs, non-immersive, semi-immersive, and fully immersive
Okay.
is what we see now.
Okay, I see that it is not easy to move when I put it full screen, so I will continue with
Not
yes.
full screen.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
exactly. So we have different technologies in VR applications. We have non-immersive VR, which is mostly screen and some interactions. We have semi-immersive, which is 3D or very big screens that the participant can participate and do some exercises. And then we have the full immersive, which is with the glasses and the controllers or non-controllers. So when it comes to Parkinson, we have already many applications in VR that mostly train the physical symptoms of Parkinson's. And mainly we have VR for training the balance and the gait, and also the upper limb movement. But also we have many VR training the cognitive functions of Parkinson patients. And all of these studies, they seem very promising for the VR. So when we compare virtual reality with physical therapy, we see that VR has good improvements in the balance, in the motor skills, in gait, and also in the upper limb control, which is the tremor, the strength, the speed, the accuracy of the movement. And of course, also in cognitive functions, and we have very good results in the overall cognitive function, but also in the executive. And also we have some VR applications that seem to improve a lot the mood and more specifically the depression. So overall, it seems that VR, it's a good and a supportive method for the physical and the cognitive rehabilitation. But one of the limitations is that all of these studies, they have good quality, but we have a higher demand for high quality research in this area. So these interventions, they mostly they last around 30 minutes, and it can start from one session to 60 sessions. And some VR environments include navigation into the space with some exercises of the everyday life, as walking or doing cycling or doing exercises in the kitchen or in the house. One of the negative things of VR is the simulation sickness that can be created in the virtual reality environment, or otherwise we can call it motion sickness. And this is a feeling of dizziness and disorientation into the virtual reality, and can be created especially when you have a lot of movement into the VR and a lot of image changes. And of course, patients that have epilepsy, they cannot participate into these exercises. So coming to our project, React project, it is a multidisciplinary team that also physiotherapists, occupational therapists, neuropsychologists have been participated to create a fully immersive VR program that combines cognitive and physical rehabilitation at the same time. And it has been created to treat patients with various neurological diseases, as stroke, as TBI, but also with patients with Parkinson's disease. So till now we have two games. The first game is occupational therapy kind of scenario, where participants have to cut some balls into a table, where they, in the first game, they have to exercise the naming. So they have to fill the same ball with the same color in the to match them. In the second one, they have a very big box where they had to put inside objects with the same color. And then in the second scenario, we have the participants are in a field where they have goats and coming in front of them, and they have to distinguish white goats in the right side or black sheep in the left side. Also, I have to mention that this program has been created for the early stages of rehabilitation. So it is for patients that are starting right now and their cognitive functions are in a very early stages, as well as their physical rehabilitation. And we created the first pilot study to test the safety and the feasibility of this fully immersive VR. And we included patients actually starting with stroke because it was more easy in the rehabilitation center. We had more patients with stroke, so we started examining the VR to them. And we tested the safety and the feasibility with the SEC questionnaire, Sustainability Evaluation Questionnaire for Virtual Reality Systems. And we translated it in the Greek language. And also, we included some more extra questions about the therapists, where also therapists can give feedback whether the program was easy for the patients, or if it was easy to use for them, and if they have to recommend any changes. We gave the SEC questionnaire in the first and the last session. So the results are quite good. So we conducted 27 sessions in this first pilot study. Every session lasted from 8 to 12 minutes. And the feedback that we got is that very good. It was 61. The top score that someone can get is 63. So the participants really liked the VR. Also, they think it is safe. We have no negative symptoms. Only one participant stated that they had a bit of dizziness in the beginning, but this was very, very mild, and it did not interrupt the session. Also, the therapists gave a good feedback. They think that the VR is very easy to use, and it is also easy to use for them, but also easy for the patients. So, going to the conclusions, it seems that a VR can be safe and easy to use, and they can have a very have a very good impact in cognitive and physical rehabilitation. Some challenges that we have is that till now all the research includes small sample in the patients. We have a lack of follow-up in many studies, which creates a question about the ecological validity of the virtual reality programs. We don't have a lot of data about the early stages of rehabilitations. And many studies, they don't really they don't really report many details about the intervention, about the evaluation that they did before or they did after. So some ideas for future studies. I think we really need bigger, large-scale longitudinal clinical studies, and also more specifically, we need more RCTs, more randomized controlled trials to test in various group of patients, and also it would be very nice to combine and test the difference between immersion and non-immersive VR environments, and also to combine VR with other technological tools as EEG or fMRI. This is our team. It's a very big team with many different therapists. We have physical therapists, occupational therapists, our professor, which is a professor in ICU clinic. And of course, here we have the team which creates all of the VR. They are designers and developers. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Aklina. Thank you. If you have time, we can wait until the end for questions. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, thank you very much then. So let's go for the next one. Would be Antonis Papadimetrius with PDMonitor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you for inviting me here to speak about PDMonitor. Let me share my screen. I have prepared a small presentation. Just give me a second to find the PowerPoints. I haven't used a Zoom for a while, so okay. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Anthony.
Excellent. So I'm Antonis Papadimetriou. I'm a senior sales marketing executive in PDMonitor Technology. PDMonitor Technology is a company. It's a UK company. Started in 2015. Commercialized product that has started back in 2006 as an idea, as a concept. And the concept was to have an objective.
Anthony, sorry, we have some problems to hear you. Maybe if you, when you're talking, you are just putting your hands before you, the sounds disappears.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's not very good, the sound anyway, but we can hear you.
Okay, this project started back in the University of Ioannina in 2006 as a research project, and the aim was to have an objective monitoring of motor symptoms in Parkinson's disease patients, which was quite difficult, as Parkinson's is a quite complex disease. The symptoms are quite, they look like each other, and it was very easy for the patient to confuse them. So after many years of research, PDMonitor.
Sorry again, Anthony. Sorry. I think that maybe you are changing the different pages, but we can see them. So if you get out from the full screen presentation, it's easier, because I don't know what happened with Zoom and PowerPoint when you're presenting, when we are presenting in full screen, that we can see the change. Let's see.
It's better now.
No, I think that you are not changing the different pages. Have you changed before the pages, or are you still in the first one?
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Okay, perfect.
okay.
Perfect.
I wasn't really good changing pages. I just wanted to give you an introduction on the device before actually showing the pictures. So what was created was a device with 5 sensors, wearable sensors that you can see here on the page. We have 2 sensors being worn by the patient on the arms, exactly like where a wrist. 2 sensors being worn on the legs, on the shank level, and 1 on the waist. So by wearing these sensors from the morning till before the patient goes to sleep in the evening, we monitor all the movement of the patient during the day. Inside these sensors are various movement sensors, a gyroscope, an accelerometer, a magnetometer. Also, there is a memory card and a battery to keep all the system live. So we monitor everything. All these sensors are
I beg your pardon, Anthony, again. We have some problems with your communication. Do you have headphones or something like a microphone?
Let me just try to.
It is because the sound, we hear you very, very, very down. Let's see. You have microphone with the headphones, maybe?
I've used.
Wow, much better. Thank you very much. Much better. They are quite different. Thank you.
So at the end of the day, when the patient finishes the monitoring session, they put these devices on this base here, which is called SmartBooks, and the processing starts. So let's see what happens. So this is this green box is the monitoring device that the patient actually wear on the body. It contains various sensors inside. At the end of the day, the patient puts the sensor on the SmartBooks, where all this raw data is being processed, and with special machine learning algorithms, we extract the symptoms of Parkinson's disease patients that we are mainly interested in, and we actually upload this in a cloud, in the PDMonitor cloud. This is a safe cloud. This is Microsoft Azure cloud because it contains sensitive information, and all the information is being kept there. As well, apart from the sensors, either the patient or the caregiver have a mobile app. What we ask them to fill in the mobile app is information about their medication, to count their adherence to the medication. So we actually register all the medication times, and we ask them to confirm every time they got a pill, and also tell us the real time they got the pill in case they forgot. Also, they give us information about their nutrition, what they had for dinner or for lunch, especially if there was a food involving protein. And also they can send an open message to their physician for anything that they think is important for the physician to know. So all this information, both from the sensor and from the mobile app, either from the caregiver or the patient, is being collected to the PDMonitor cloud, and then it is sent in the form of a very detailed report to the physician. This is the mobile app I explained before. I mean, you can see here a typical medication list. Also, some icons that we ask them to fill regarding food, if they had fish, meat, dairy products, or eggs, or anything else. Also, we provide them some, at the end of the monitoring session, which is a typical monitoring session will be from 2 to 5 consecutive days. We provide them with some statistics about their activity, how active they were, the percentage of time they were walking, they were sleeping, or they were sitting. So so the patient can actually realize a lot of details about their routine that before maybe they didn't. And all this information is being collected and presented to the doctor in a very, very nice way, in a form of a diagram and also in a form of a card. So the physician can, the neurologist or the physician can actually see all the symptoms in a very nice diagrammatic way for all these days. And they see how the patient actually reacts to medication. These lines here are the times of medication, and the bars represent for this diagram the off sessions. So the higher the bar, the more off is the patient. The probability of the patient being off is higher, and clearly the patient can have a lot of information about how the patient reacts to medication, how the patient takes the medication, if they are accurate or not, and we provide a lot of information so the doctor can make decisions to fine-tune the medication of the patient, either add, change, reduce, depending on the symptoms. This actually is leading us, this device can help us to go to a different paradigm. This is a very important slide, because here we can see in the first part what can happen without PDMonitor in the course of few months. A typical visit to neurologist of a Parkinson's disease patient would be about 4 to 6 months. So in these 4 to 6 months, without PDMonitor, the doctor receives some random phone calls where the objectivity of the data is not really high, either from the patient themselves or from caregivers. The doctor doesn't have a very clear understanding of what is going on till the next visit. With the PDMonitor, all this changes. The doctor can actually request the patient to work with the monitor to get an idea, to get an understanding of the symptoms. And also, very importantly, the doctor can be proactive. They can call the patient and then they can ask them to change something, medication, nutrition, or habit, with the result to have much better control symptoms, the patient to be more self-managed because they feel that the doctor knows what is going on. Also, the users of the app helps us a lot for the patient to understand the daily routine. And everybody is fully empowered and participatory and participant in the disease management. These are the basic symptoms we track, we depict from PDMonitor. Well, gait, this is very, very basic for the patients because it affects the quality of gait, affects the quality of life in general. Of course, we track tremor, bradykinesia, which is very basic symptom of Parkinson's, dyskinesia, which is a side effect of medication, freeze of gait, which is another effect of gait, and also postural instability, which gives the neurologist the idea of progression of the disease. All patients, all these symptoms are being monitored and been produced in the report, and help the neurologist to understand. They can see every single symptom in every single extremity, and so they know the disease progression, and they can make decisions regarding the patient, either for medication change or maybe decide if the patient is eligible for advanced therapy like deep brain simulation or apomorphine pump or anything else. Overall, of course, there is an objective evaluation that PDMonitor offers. And we can see all motor fluctuation and complications, and also what I said earlier, that all this can lead us to therapy modification, but based on accurate data. We can monitor the course of Parkinson's disease over time. We can monitor when the disease is actually progressing from one body side to another, and decide for any other interventions. We can have a very good idea of what is the patient doing in the everyday life, in their home, in their natural environment, and not in a hospital. This is more realistic. Of course, we can understand the patient complaints and actually rate them if they are pragmatic or not. And the neurologist can understand much better what is going on. We have all 5 sensors, and also we get, as I said before, a full icon of all body parts and of all symptoms, including the gait. Gait is very important for the quality of life of the patient. We offer active participation of the patient and his or her caregiver. And all this can save a lot of time during the next visit to the physician, because the physician will actually have a lot of data to discuss and will not waste any time in trying to understand what happened in the last 5-6 months that they haven't seen the patient. And this could help the physician actually getting a more accurate therapy for the patient, help them more, and make them well, this is too much to say. At the end of the day, we need to improve the quality of life of the patient. And when we have a well-controlled patient, their symptoms are well controlled as much as possible. Of course, Parkinson's disease is a degenerative disease. I mean, it will go worse over time. But our aim here is to keep the patient at a good level for as much as possible by very well controlling their therapy. Of course, this information can be shared with other healthcare professionals, except the physician, like a PD nurse. In some countries, PD nurse has a very active role in the management of the patients. Of course, a physiotherapist, occupational speech therapist, if it exists in the healthcare system. Of course, the caregiver, which plays a very important role in the patient's advancement and care, and any other healthcare professional that is involved in the patient's journey in Parkinson's. Also, we have, of course, as I said before, we can be proactive using this kind of tool. We can be preventive by seeing symptoms and try to act upon. This is all personalized because Parkinson's disease is very different in each patient and has different symptoms. And of course, participatory, as the patient actually participates in their therapy, make them and understands better their disease during using all these monitoring tools. And that was very briefly PDMonitor. I mean, we could say a lot more. There are a lot of publications, there are a lot of studies, there are a lot of people that have been used in PDMonitor in many countries. But in the interest of time, that was a very brief presentation. Please ask any questions at the end. I will be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Anthony. It's very clear. We have I have a lot of questions for the more.
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go through George, maybe, with Prono.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to be here with you today. Hopefully you can see my screen. So I'm George Dinolazos. I'm one of the co-founders and I'm based in London. My background is in digital transformations, and I've worked with over the last 20-30 years with startups and in different sectors in the space of healthcare, I've worked with lots of startups and big companies like GlaxoSmithKline, and I have been for 3 years the interim head of data for the European Medicines Agency. With me on the call is also Yannis Vasilakos. He's my fellow co-founder of Prono, and he's a seasoned business development manager in healthcare IT in Greece and across Europe. So Prono is a social tech startup, and our mission is to empower and support informal carers and the people they care for. And what we're gonna show you is our flagship product, our platform called Prono Care. Before we go there, it's taking a moment to see what life-changing moments we all live. My father passed away almost 7 years ago, and he lived with the disease for 8 years. His life-changing moment was when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And these life-changing moments happen around us all the time. When Maria is being diagnosed with Alzheimer's, when Mike is being told that the shadow in his X-ray is actually cancer, when John had this car accident 5 months ago and the pain is still there, when Nick had a stroke, when the grandma stopped recognizing her family, where Helen been told that the therapy didn't work, when the dad receives the last visit from his son, from his daughter and granddaughter. So these are life-changing moments, and they change not just these people's lives, they change the lives of the families, and the families suddenly become carers. And as a carer, they are there to hear what these people hear, there to see what they see, there to feel what they feel. These are the carers. And when you're a carer, it's almost like you're taking a responsibility you know nothing about. Life is almost like that white space we see on the screen right now. You're feeling not lost. You know nothing about the disease. You know nothing about your responsibilities. Nobody told you anything about how to do proper caregiving. But nevertheless, you have to go and assist with activities of daily living, food, personal care, medications, mental, emotional well-being, doing errands, housework, mobility, and worrying about financial and legal matters. And you also have to coordinate care with family and friends. You have to navigate a labyrinth of services, both primary care services or secondary care services. In the approach to find hope, you might be looking at even clinical trials, developments in health and healthcare, and you need to coordinate care with all of these professionals. And in order to coordinate, you need to know about symptoms, medication, you need to learn about the disease, record things, organize things, communicate all of this health information. And always be aware that you need to do short-term and long-term planning. In my mind, when we talk about care, caregiving, carer, they all sound like soft, compassionate, human things, but the reality is brutal, it's cruel, it's exhausting both physically and mentally. But if your loved ones need care, then they need care. So Prono is there. We've created Prono for these informal carers to lift some of their burdens, to give them back some of the time, to be the compass on that journey of caring for the loved ones, and to extend the care circle so they never feel alone. So what does Prono do? The journey starts with downloading the app, creating your account. You could apply a sponsorship, whether this comes from a not-for-profit organization, your employer. And if you're a caregiver, you can create an account for the care recipient. And the idea here is this diary, this Prono app can be used both for you as a carer and the person who receives care. So what can you do with the app? One of the things we have is to be able to record all the health and lifestyle data. So you're recording things like diet, sleep, activities, water intake, habits you might have either as a caregiver or a patient. You're recording all the vitals, blood pressure, heart rate, blood glucose, body temperature, body oxygen levels. And you can keep track of your existing conditions, medication alerts, lab results, vaccinations, and allergies. And what the app does, it can give you an overview of the health over time. Here you can see your blood pressure over time, your heart rate, or even your medication adherence, whether the patient has taken the medication on time or missed some of the dosages. So this is all about recording information. But then you need to connect and coordinate help. So we have this concept of creating a circle of care where you can invite and connect on these shared, if you like, calendars and records, your family and friends. You can search and connect professional services, nurses, doctors, dietitians, everyone who might be offering help at home. And then this personal circle of care, they all have access to every information you're sharing with them. So you're creating an extended care circle to support you through these different stages of caregiving and the different stages of the caregiving continuum. And then you need to have plans. You recorded your medical information, your health information, and what we do is you have a plan of the tasks for that specific day. And you can have log entries, things that you do in that specific day. You can do things like activities of daily living, instrumental activities of daily living, or even specialized activities where they need specialized skills from either doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, and other activities. Part of the logbook here, especially for people who have Parkinson's, what we've seen is they use it to record the symptoms and the change of symptoms, their emotions, and also the diets, but also all of these other activities, which are activities of every day, so you can plan and ask for help. One of the biggest things with carers is that they might be supporting the extended network of family and friends, but it's not very easy for someone to go constantly on a daily basis asking for help. By connecting these people on the platform, you can see the to-dos, the things that need to be done on that day, and then people can offer and volunteer help without need to actually ask for it. In terms of last part we have in the presentation today is all around learning. As we said, when you start this role as of a caregiver, one of the big gaps you have in terms of resources for events that you can attend and learn new things, useful links to not-for-profit organizations, and you might be getting information about medicine recalls across the spectrum of the medication you're taking. All of these types of information can be managed by the sponsor, as we said, of the application. So it could be personalized based on what disease and location the patient and or caregiver live in. So the information will be slightly different in terms of what they see. A recent addition, which we are very proud of, is the idea of having a chatbot. And the idea is that the caregiver and or patient can ask questions and get responses back in terms of these questions for the disease or the care plan or any other question that they have. Our chatbot is based on ChatGPT and is the latest version, number 4, but it's trained. We have different chatbot instances, but the one we have for Parkinson's is trained on publicly available resources. So these could be documents from research, from not-for-profit organizations, and it's one of the things we will want to do is to feed these types of, for example, the good practice for caring for someone with Parkinson's or living with Parkinson's. These documents can be fed into the chatbot, and then they become the knowledge base for having conversations with the caregivers and or patients. And the chatbot is available in our application, but it's also available as a separate instance for websites as well. So one of the key things here is it's not a generic chatbot, it's a chatbot that is specifically trained on documents that have been validated either through NGOs, research, and peer-to-peer publications. So as we've seen, technology, we don't think can replace the human touch for providing care, but it could help with recording, planning, connecting, and learning across the caregiving continuum. We offer the health and the lifestyle profile management, a shared care plan schedule where both caregivers, patients, and everyone else in the network, professionals or not, can see and add information. A dietitian can add all of the diet plan. A doctor can add the medication. The nurse can add specific things in terms of exercises and so on and so on. And they're all shared with everyone in the platform. And the circle of care, as we said, you have an extended network of support and new information and educational resources together. You can download the app on our website and see it for yourself. But the more important thing for us is that we think we believe in collaboration, and together we can do more. So we work with not-for-profit organizations to offer free access to our platform, but also we want to have partnerships in order to serve this content, the best practices, information for all of these patients and caregivers, for people who have Parkinson's, but also any other people who need care. And that's.
Thank you very much, George. It's very clear also. Okay. I have several questions because we start with this part of the we are on time very good. And so we are on time, very good. So if you have some question, because I am the moderator, so I keep to the end, but please go ahead and participate also between you, the speakers, if you have some questions to the others. So Sasa.
Actually, I don't have a question. I mean, I just have to apologize because something was wrong with my presentation and appearance. I'm here and you can hear me. I hope I can see by your face that you can hear me, but you cannot see me. I tried everything possible except to restart Windows, which I didn't want to do that. So sorry about it.
Okay. We can hear you, Sasa. You have some questions?
Yes. No, I said that I don't have particular question. I mean, I was just listening to your presentation, so I just wanted to use this opportunity to apologize. So
okay.
Sorry. Thank you for all the speakers. It was really nice and fruitful, and something which will help us because we will be the next presenter for this good practice exchange. I mean, our society. So
Thank you very much, Asa. Okay, so do you have some question? Any question from your side?